I saw this cool wall decor on Pinterest and decided to recreate it.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sharon, and this is Classy Shades Designs.
I went to my local hardware store and picked up two of their scrap pieces of 2x4s so that I could create this project. I measured out one 2x4 so that I could get two 6-inch pieces, two 8-inch pieces, and one 12-inch piece from my design. For my design. Once I had all the pieces that I want measured out, I put them on my chop saw, and in order to get a smooth, even cut without any blowout, I made sure that I did a slow and even chop and slide. I didn't try to chop all the way through the 2x4 because that would give me some splintering. So I chopped and slide and then pressed down to give it a little bit pressure as we went through until I had all 5 of the pieces that I wanted with the lengths that I wanted for each piece. I took them into the garage and laid them on some plastic so now that I could give them a really good coat of white spray paint. It was extremely humid, so it took a long time for the spray paint to dry, and actually when I finally took it into the craft room there was still a little bit of moisture. Before taking them in, I also gave them a little dab of gold spray paint in the middle, and you can see that here. Just so that I kind of had an idea of where I would want to put my gold. Now, I took some Waverly chalk paint and started adding some dimension to my project. This is where you get to make this project your own. You can add as much or as little of the additional paint that you want. In any place that you see you've gotten kind of heavy-handed like I did, just come in with some of the white chalk paint and help to disperse that heavy color in one spot. Once I was satisfied with the way that the dimension that I added to it looked, I took some tack it over glue and I decided to use this glue in order to be able to add my gold metal flake paper. Now, I like to use the tack it over glue for projects like this because although you could use Mod Podge requires it to be wet when you apply it, which in my opinion isn't the best way to apply this real thin paper. Using the tack it over, you apply it to the spaces that you want it to the gold flake paper to be. You allow it to dry, and then you just come in like I'm doing here with the sheets. These sheets are really thin, so it doesn't take a whole lot to crumble them up or make it work, and I wanted this crumble up look. I started using the end of a paintbrush so that I could keep the crumbled up look and not use my finger, thinking that my finger would smooth it down much more than I wanted it to be. Unfortunately, this was not the best process, so I just went ahead and did it using my finger at the end of the day, and it turned out fine. It actually worked without having to worry about having them lay too flat onto the wood. Actually, I think I like it with the half flat, half smooth design, but you can do it the way that you want. That's the thing that I like about this project. You can make this as large or as small. You can do 4 pieces, you can do 3 pieces. You don't have to do it exactly like the inspiration piece. I then came in with a little bit more of the chalk paints that I was using just to give it some dimension to help blend this all together and make it look like it's one cohesive design, and that the lines from the gold flakes are blending in with the actual project, and that just really helps settle everything together. I flipped it over on its face so that now we can prepare to measure it out to get our hanging tools attached to the back of it. And what I did here was envision the way that I want it on the wall, and then found the center core of where I would want my pieces, the hanging equipment to be, and I drew a line so that I could make sure that I had every single piece in the same distance from each other, so when we hang it on the wall it hangs evenly. I apply these pieces with some frame hanging equipment that I picked up from my local Walmart and just hammered it on. Now the nails were little, so it took a little bit of work without smashing my fingers, but it eventually worked for me. Once I was done with that, I took some satin clear enamel to give it all a good coating to seal it all in, and this is how the project turned out for me. I Love it. I think it turned out so cool. It's so fun. And it looks like my inspiration piece with my twist to it. So leave me a comment down below and tell me what you think. And do you think you can see this in your space? Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time in our next video. Until then, stay classy.